what's the biggest office you've ever worked in?
I just completed a job for an office that's going to be just north of like $11 million, probably close to $12 million.
What?
It's a standalone office. It's like 3 floors, it's got an atrium, it's full, it's got different stuff in it, and it's here in Texas, which was shocking to me.
Okay, Alex. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I've laid this on to you yet.
All right, what's
the
going
shit
on now?
We're dealing with at the office,
Yeah, what
right?
now?
I feel like you're like, don't complain, and I was like, okay, I won't complain then when I get home at night, but I'll complain when I'm on the podcast. That's the best way to do it. No, so as you know, because you were involved in it, our practice, our second location is it's like 6 years old, and so here's the crap we're dealing with now. Our floors in all of our operatories are starting to move. What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
So like the planks, like our wood planks.
Yes. So in each of our operatories, we have flooring in there, right? It's not real wood.
Isn't that like,
right? It's
yeah,
the
vinyl wood
stuff.
or whatever. I don't know the terms. Yeah.
Well, Tommy's on.
I know colors.
Tommy's. I'm gonna introduce Tommy here in a second. Who's our construction expert, and he's gonna clarify all this stuff with me.
All the technical terms.
But basically, the floor is moving, so now you can see a gap between the hallway and then where the operatories are, right? The floor is like carpet, right, in the main hallway.
Yeah.
And then the rooms, it's this
the wood plank.
this woody kind of thing, right? Yeah. And it's separating, so you can see the concrete in between. So now it's creating a gap.
Okay.
And so potentially hazard, right? Like you want to make sure that you don't have that. So
How big's the gap? Like
probably
half
in
inch?
some of the ops, it's probably like half inch to an inch. So
Okay.
like you're not
So
gonna
enough to like lose a burr, and it like it's like where to go, and it's like
but
this
not
little
like
crevice.
not like a pothole, right? It's,
Okay.
it's not that bad.
People trip on it.
No, we haven't had that happen yet, which is good. But anyways, so this had happened like a couple years after we opened, and they kind of fixed some of the planks or the tiles, and it just keeps on happening over and over again to the point where there was a flooring guy who came in and he's like, yeah, this isn't how you put in floors.
Oh.
And I was like, oh great, I'm glad I paid for that, and it's only been 6 years. So in my head, I'm like, God damn it, this sucks. So I was like, I need to call up Tommy. We have known Tommy forever. He helped us with not this. Tommy did not do this.
No,
Tommy
no.
has been our expert though with construction stuff. We've known him forever. So many of our friends have used him for just either any questions about construction. He's been in the industry forever. Just an awesome guy. And so I was like, I need to bring Tommy back on because I need to tell him this situation, and then all of our listeners can now hear it. So if they're building something or they know what's going on, to avoid this. So Tommy, sorry for dumping all of that on you, but basically I was told that it's just floating floors. So can you go through what the hell's happening at my office, why it happened and why I'm probably not happy about it?
Well, you are in a cooler climate, so there's a lot of differentiation. It's warm inside, it's cool outside, the door opens and closes. It's people probably wanted extra warm in there, and then what happens is there's moisture that's created, so it traps moisture in there, and so it's just like a road, right? You get a pothole in the road with moisture, especially in cooler climates. It's the same thing there. They don't put a moisture barrier down or put down something to. It's something as simple as leveling the floor, putting a deck down or something to get the floor level, and then putting down the right moisture barrier or doing a moisture test, which is probably what they should have done. And then they'll know, depending on the moisture content, what kind of adhesive to put down. It's either the real aggressive adhesive or it's going to be just the normal one that's recommended by the manufacturer. It just depends. But typically, after a 5-year mark, if it was going to give you an issue, it would happen after the 5-year mark on the flooring. After it kind of just, it can't stick anymore.
So what is
it loses its tacticity.
What is a floating floor? Because my understanding is there's no adhesive. I think literally what do they do without you having
so
seen
that
it?
one is
yeah.
So that is more of like I mean, really, really like using that in dental offices. Really, I like to use something that's glued down because it's glued down, it sticks. Floating floor doesn't have a barrier underneath it, like a moisture barrier, but it's only going to absorb so much, and it's like kind of like shiplap where they lock together. It's the same thing. So probably what you're seeing is some of them like buckling
Yep.
up a little bit, or they pop
Yep.
loose,
Exactly.
and that's where you get that gap. Yeah, so it's because it got moisture in there and it just couldn't give anymore, so it popped loose. And they say it's really easy. It goes in fast, no adhesive, blah blah blah. It's the same thing as putting glue down. You can put a floor down and with glue in 6 hours. 22,000 square foot office can go down in like 6 hours with 3 or 4 guys, and a floating floor it's like five. you know but that hour is the cost difference between saving. You can reduce the number of guys that are putting that down to save money, so it's more of a cost savings is why they like using it. I don't like it. I don't even like it for residential. So
No, because
it
exactly
should have
right.
been
And
an
as
LVT.
you were talking about that, I thought, okay, moisture. Well, guess where else there's moisture? When my like Cavitron unit leaks a little bit, right? Or my handpiece is
Yeah.
leaking. And so that's exactly makes sense on why that's happening, because there are times where you got it, your handpiece is leaking, right? Or like the tubing's
The
weird,
air water
right?
is just
The air
like left
water's
on,
weird,
yeah,
or
dripping.
someone just accidentally like
Yeah.
it locked, right? And so
Yeah.
you'll get these puddles, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where it's kind of happening is I'm finding some of those planks are just buckling in those spots, or it almost looks like they're condensing, right? Or they're kind of lifting up a little bit.
Right, yeah, they're
And of course,
Yep,
like you'd think,
yep.
of course there's going to be moisture in a dental office. We got so much fucking water in there
Yeah,
all the time,
yeah.
right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
okay, so
Yeah,
then what
I
do I
mean,
need to...
So do you have? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So do you have VCT in your office in the sterilization of the
Yeah.
staff
Yeah.
room?
That's the flooring. That's like
Do-
the.
that VCT little squares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
I
okay,
think
good.
so.
Yeah,
I think so.
because a lot of guys are putting down like LVT, and they say, well, we'll put LVT down. It's the same, or they don't make I love hearing this. They don't make VCT anymore. And I'm like, yeah, they do. You go to Floor and Decor, and you can get it all day long for 50 cents a square, or less, even less than that. It's like super cheap, but it's takes a lot of abuse. It holds up pretty well. I mean, you got to polish it and stuff like that, but it's just like cleaning the floors in the office with LVT. And so some guys will say, well, we'll go ahead and just upgrade you to LVT in the staff area and in the lab and steri. I'm like, well, that is an upgrade. As long as it's the same price, then we'll take it. And that holds up really well as VCT. The LVT holds up really
Well, I was
well.
gonna say in
yeah,
your
okay.
sterilization room too, right? Like you've got a sterilizer running, right?
Oh, there's
that's
water
gonna
all on
create-
the floor
that's
all the
gonna
time.
create
Like-
a ton of moisture,
Yeah,
right? All that
yeah.
kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it happens in there quite a. So some guys, yeah, some of them are talking them into this different materials, and when we catch it, we're like, no, let's not use that. Oh, it comes out from interior designers that they want every area to like have this like certain look, which is understandable, right? We all know we want it to look less clinical, we want it to be more modern, we want it the area to be functional, but we want it to be nice so that even the staff loves coming into like their nice pristine office. But there's some materials you just aren't going to use in those very impactful rooms.
Yeah.
So
it's-
then-
yeah,
go
it's
ahead.
it's so hard because I remember picking all this stuff for your office because I already had my office and I had like that book of like all of the stuff, and I'm like, do this. Like, just literally do this. And I know some things get discontinued and stuff, so it's like, thanks, like the color's not the same and stuff like that. But I mean,
Yeah.
you can get, I mean, and this is a hard time for me because like I like nice things. I usually pick the nicest,
Yeah.
they're the most expensive thing out of it. And I'm like, don't show me anything expensive. Just don't show it to me
Yeah.
because I will want to do that.
Yeah.
And you have to restrict yourself, and you're like, okay, out of this, which is the cheapest one? Okay, I will pick from these two colors then. And guess what? It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, you can do other things to spruce up the office and do different decor and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you might
but
as
don't.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
The stuff that's going to be like high use, right? Like, why would you want? You want things to be. I feel like it's how I look at cars, right? Like, I don't need to buy the most expensive car. Like, I want something that's like reliable, durable, will last a long time, and kind of gets me from point A to point B. And I feel like that's how you should treat your office when you're working on stuff that is going to get used all the time, right? Like doors, sliding door, all that kind of stuff. You want stuff that's just going to last a long time and not be a pain in the ass to have to fix.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you want a BMW, great, right? Get a BMW. Just know it's going to be really expensive every time you have to go get it. Like, oil changes are going to be a lot, all that stuff. Do you really want to deal with it? Is it worth it, right? When you're really going to be in that room to like drill on teeth.
Well, and it's the same thing too. It's like, you're using that personally, like your BMW or whatever it is. You're not like renting it out as an Uber. Like, it's going to get destroyed, right? And that's the same thing. Like, our initial staff that came in when it was first brand new, they did take care of things. But after like the 10th or like 12th employee, they don't know that this stuff was like immaculate at the beginning. They're just like, whatever, it's another office, and they slam things and they break shit, and you're like, this is my baby. Like, stop making this a mess and stuff. Like, it just.
So, what are your thoughts on this, Tommy? So, one thing we bought from probably Wayfair is just like the like a coffee table that's in the waiting room, right? And it's nice.
Yeah.
It's very basic, like kind of modern, sleek. It's white. It was white. Let me rephrase that. It was white. But because it looks there's two windows that get a lot of sun on those.
Very sunny in your office.
It is like,
in like the front.
It is like bright yellow now, right? Like it has like we were even doing a team meeting a couple weeks ago, and I was joking that I was like, oh yeah, who wants to guess what color this was, right? And you know, I was like, this was like bright white. And they're like, holy shit, like it hits so much sun damage. So that's a good thought. Like, what do you recommend? Because dental offices are exposed to the environments a lot of times, right, through like windows and stuff. What do you recommend that, you know, clients or people building an office, what should they use for finishes or colors, so like stuff lasts longer and you don't see that kind of damage? So it looks good 5 years down the road.
Yeah, so to Dr. Cantor's point, you know, when you're looking at finishes and the contractors, so there's a lot of little things that they do along the way that will, you know, just gradually increase cost. You start out at the construction, you know, contract at this much, but then they're gonna bring in their, which is included, their interior designer to talk to you for 3 hours, free, to go over the finishes, right? That you pretty much already have selected in your drawings or in your drafted documents, depending on, you know, back then they were drafted documents. And so they had a range of finishes, which is really good. It's Wilson Art, it's Mohawk, it's Bennington carpet, it's very wide. But that person comes in and they start talking about finishes and say, you know, look at this and look at this and look how that lines up and this and this. You're like, oh yeah, I like that. Well, they're showing you the premium stuff. And then you're like, oh, I like that. But, oh, yeah. And then the contractors, oh, that's not really included. It's this. And, you know, our job is to come in and say, okay, oh, we're going to meet with the interior designer. Great. Let's go through that process. And we sit there and we're like, okay, what's in the budget? Don't show me anything else. I want to see what's in the budget first. And then they show you what's in the budget. And so that way you can avoid that wanting the nicer one, because, I mean, you know, that happens to Veronica too. Veronica, they do this, you know, I'm like, hey, whoa, hold on a second. I'm like, I know we can get some really nice stuff within our budget, you know, for any project that we're doing ourselves personally, because there's just a wide selection. But over time, there's a little bit of that along the way. And that's one of the bigger ones, the finishes, because, you know, don't you want your office to look nice? You know, people are going to see it. It's going to end up in the trade magazine, and, you know, people are going to be looking at it. It's going to be the model office, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it all sounds good and all, but it's coming out of your pocket. And if you're a startup, like some of the people are, it's kind of hard to do that. And, you know, it goes along the line too with paint finishes. So the one that I totally avoid is like a rubber base that's white or very light in color, because your chairs rub against that. People's, you know, walking somehow, the vacuum, you know, hits that all the way down the hallway, you know, in every operatory, under the, you know, front desk, all that stuff. And that has those marks, and those don't come out of the rubber base as easily.
Dude, those are hard. Those are hard to get out at Alex's office, because we didn't paint any of them there, and they were all white. I remember like every 3 months, Alex would be like, "Who ran their chair into the side again?" Right?
I put You know those things that you put on the edges so your kids don't bonk their heads on them, like the stuff that you just like surround. I'm putting that all over the chair and sticking them so that it's like a cushion, so that they don't rub up against the wall. Because it was every week, it was like on our checklist of things: wipe the walls and try to get that shit off.
Like, grab magic eraser and try to get it out. And you're just like going as hard as you can.
But you can't use the magic eraser on some of the other walls that aren't white because then they leave a white like streak on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
pain in the ass.
Totally agreed. That happened to us, and if you could do it again, it would be like not doing that, right?
Yeah.
I think you even at some point she tried to put in one of those like rubber, like the barriers are like not a stopper, but like it goes across the whole operatory at a certain height.
Oh,
so that
those,
yeah. So it almost creates like a quarter inch of a gap, right? So like if something hits it, it's going to hit that first before it hits the wall. That was a mistake we made.
We all know Eric wants more friends. If you're enjoying this episode, share the podcast and then tell them to DM Eric so he can hit his quota of 1 new friend per day. Now back to the episode.
We've seen in different offices, because we go back and, we stop at offices along the way sometimes, when we can, just to see old friends. And, they all followed the Marbella office, right? Back in the day. And so they had those clear plexiglass acrylic things on the wall, so that way the docs and assistant chairs. Well, somehow those things look like they had a better life somewhere else because they were so marred up from, I guess they thought, well, since they're on the wall, we can just stand up and let the chair fling out, And
took so much abuse.
They were beat up. They were so beat up that in between the acrylic and the actual finished wall, there was marks and dents in the wall from where they would.
Oh, geez.
I mean, does it almost look like when you got like a bulletproof glass like car and like someone shooting at it? It kind of has like
a little dent.
That's where my head went. Yeah,
that's what it had. That's what it looked like. You're
like,
like,
this place is safe,
man. I say, it's like, hey, Doc, we need to replace some of these. Man, I had them, and I'm gonna get to that. And I said, pull those damn things out. I could do it. It'll take me like 10 minutes, man. These look bad. He's no way. I'm like, yeah. So I mean, we're in this thing. We travel. We just got in from Philadelphia. It was like stupid cold over there. It was like 22. It was like, man, I'll get back to Texas, man.
No, how many? You were telling us beforehand, because you just travel everywhere in this van, right? How many miles have you put on your van?
So this van, we've had it 2 years. We put 50,000 miles a year on it, and we get a new set of tires every year because we go through a set of tires every year. But I mean, it's, we call it our mobile command center. We got our Starlink on the roof and we boost, we're in the mountains, but we can take calls and do what we need to from just about anywhere because, the things happen. I mean, I traveled by airline for so many years, even when I was at the old company and that was good and all, but, I set up a meeting 2 or 3 weeks in advance, I'm going to go and I'm going to meet the contractor, the doc, and all the subs, and we're going to go through, a checklist of stuff. And my flight would be canceled. My flight would be delayed, and then I'd have a meeting set up for 2 or 3, whatever it is, or 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And, I would make it. Then I said, okay, well, I'll go the day before. Well, that's more cost, right? I'm going to fly in, I'm going to stay overnight. Then sometimes I wouldn't even make it then. So I was like, you know what? This is bull. I'm just going to freaking. So Veronica and I got this van, and it was better because we have 2 little dogs. Well, we have 1 now, but we travel with them, and I didn't want them, always with grandma. It's not her responsibility. Like, hey, I'm gonna, leave the 2 little dogs with you.
Yeah.
So
I'm
they're usually with us.
Honestly, you'll probably look back on it, right, at some point, and I feel like doing that, like the van and just getting to travel around. I guarantee you'll look back and be like, these were good memories.
Man, I've had so many docs come in here and just hang out.
Yeah.
We pull up to their office, whether, they're expanding or it's a new build, and they'll come in and like, hey, because it's either cold or hot outside, so they'll come in here. We have the chairs turn around and we'll just talk in here about what we're doing. And if they're expanding, well, then there's like staff walking around looking for them. Like, where in the heck are they? I'm like, hey,
no, they probably feel cool.
hiding.
They probably feel like they're a celebrity, right? Like on a movie set, right? They can be like, I need to go in the director's spot, right? And they can come with you. That's how you can frame it.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
We talk like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. I'm going to ask you that, you want this and that, but we're going to get a fair
The
price. Like,
situation
okay,
room,
then we'll go
right?
back out
You
there.
guys,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Situation room. So what do they call that? I never knew what this term was. The war room.
Oh yeah,
Right? It's the
that's
war
what
room.
you should frame it as. That you need to get a. We need to either make you
Yeah.
a sign or a poster. You need something there that's like, this is the war room. That's pretty cool.
It's the war room.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have, we do post vlogs periodically about, our trip and our travels. And, it's kind of, neat to think like, damn, we did all that,
Yeah.
and some of the things we hear, on the road, it's just comical because they don't think we're going to show up. I'm like, no, man, we're coming. And, we're gonna get all this stuff straight. It's not gonna, we're all gonna do our job. We're gonna be fair market price. It's like I was telling you before. Some people just find out that we're on board and they're like, oh well, we don't work with them. I'm like, so you don't work with, like, how does that work with startup companies, right?
Yeah.
Startup companies have people that, help and represent the dock. I mean, they're definitely not like the way we do it, where we're involved heavily in the construction part of it. And I think that's what makes them uncomfortable, is like, we're going to ask questions, if it's legit, then they shouldn't have anything to worry
Yeah,
about.
if they're
But
confident
if it's,
and they know what they're doing.
you
But
know,
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
so
they shouldn't have. Yeah.
so what's your guys' goal? When someone's like, I'm bringing Tommy on, right? Like, I know fuck all about construction. I need someone to at least be there. Is your goal to keep the dentist in budget, or is it to save them money, or is it just is it just case by case?
Well, yeah, our goal is to essentially keep them in budget and then on time, because budget's always the biggest factor, and then on time, and then control cost, and then it turns into, just, asking the right questions throughout the process ends up saving them money, and it saves them a lot of times more than what we charge for what we do. Um, so but it's something that we do all the time, and I've done it for years. And so it's not like I'm like going to the contractor and like getting the bottom dollar and I'm beating them up, and they're not making any money. No, no, no. We're being fair. So it's fair to the doc first, and it's fair to the contractor. And that's why we are required to work for the doc and not some sort of outside organization, because we have the dentist's best interest in mind, and not some other alternative. So
Oh, it's totally like
Yeah.
aligned incentives, right? Like, I feel like with our financial guy we use, right? Like, he
Yeah.
cannot take, money. He has his set up where he can't take money from, Northwestern Mutual or some big insurance company to sell a policy to us, right? Like, he doesn't get kickbacks on it, right? And I feel like
Yeah.
that's something that's really
Oh
was
my
always
God.
important to us, right? Is just to know, like,
Yeah.
be transparent, and
Yeah.
if I'm paying you, work on my behalf, and then we're good. And then people are okay paying people for that. That's the thing, is like, you guys are very similar to, like, if I'm trying to negotiate fees on my insurance, right? Or like dental insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And I could try to do it myself, but guess who's going to know how to, like, play games more and how to, like, tell me something's good when it's not? The dental insurance company. Same with, like, supplies, right? Like, your rep's going to say, like, oh, I can save you money on this and this thing. But, like, they know the games, right? Whereas
Yeah,
someone like
yeah.
you comes in, and yeah, you get the term of, like, middleman, right? But it's a valuable middleman, right? It's actually a value. It's not, you're not a, like,
Yeah.
redundancy. You're not a waste, right? You're adding value. So I think that's where the middleman's important and can help a lot. When the person has a gap in their knowledge about something, and they have someone who's fighting on their behalf and helping, it's like it's just would be like an attorney, right? Like, that's what you're doing, is you're helping with that. So yeah, I mean, there's a few things, and this is not meant. This is just because we've loved working with you forever, Tommy, and we know you're such a great guy. Is like,
Thank you. Yeah.
if I was ever building an office again,
Yeah.
no matter what, I would have someone, even if it wasn't you, someone that does what you do has to be
Yeah.
a must, right?
Yeah.
Like, we've got several friends who are building new offices now, right? Or expanding and doing that. Even with them having done it a few times, they still don't know it. They're still hiring you back to do it again, right? So
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
it's one of those things
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
think you kind of need.
Yeah. It's like, we have a mutual friend, out in Washington State, and, he was one of the first docs we all know, and he's doing something up there. And, like, he called me, we talked, I saved him $1 million on his build. I mean, within like 12 hours. And then we started digging in and finding more stuff. Well, that contractor wasn't very happy with me, because it was a clique. It was a group. It was like, you hire this guy, you hire this guy, you hire this guy, and they all, you're saying, like what do they call, like rebates or rev shares or whatever? They
Yeah,
got
they're all
different
just
names for it,
yeah, it's
but
just a big circle,
yeah,
right? And yeah.
we don't do that. Yeah, we don't do that. So it's, so I did, I don't even consider anything like that. So when we brought this other guy on, to look at it, that we've worked with several times. He's a good sized company up there, and he was able to do it for less. And then we started finding things that were redundancies that we didn't need to have, that we could get around. But you know, you have to be willing to look for those things, and so we do. Like, up here in Philadelphia, the stock is getting this building's over 100 years old, and so he was getting bids from different people off of one page, right? And you know and they were all over the place, 900 to a million, and well, his budget is not that for construction. So I went out there to look at it because I was like, you know what, I'm close. Let me just see um, what I can find. I'm only like an hour and a half away. Let me just run up there. It's not something we normally do, so I can't do it for everybody. But we went up there and we looked around. We met the architect up there, and then we started like value engineering things as we were talking. Like, well, what if we don't put concrete here and we use pier and beam style, or what if we don't you know go with this type of pitched roof, and we go with some different. And what if you start like moving things around, and or what if you do a partial build, which is really saving money, so we can get things within budget for him, because he's pretty much committed to this building now. And we got to make it work for his budget. And so we're able to do that. So when we went to meet him at his office and we told him, he was pretty happy about it. And he's like, I really appreciate it. I mean, thanks for you guys for coming. I'm like, yeah, I mean, we treat it like our money, man. Cause I'm not going to just say like, oh yeah, hey, they want to charge you, $10,000 to do this. Yeah, you got to pay it.
Well, it's
No.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
think
why?
you understand it's like a relationship business, right? And like you can either do the
Yeah.
short term thing and you can get a couple clients and do an okay job, and then you're actually getting some type of kickback from the construction guy to push the dentist a certain way, and then
Yeah.
then you're gonna last a year or two, and then word's gonna get out, and then
Yeah.
no one's gonna want to use you.
Well,
again.
yeah, just like the guys that did your floating floor. Like, if we ever had to do another build, we are not using
Yeah.
them, And it's like that
Yeah.
that relationship is done, and we would not recommend them to anyone else.
Yeah. So then, but those people are playing the short
Right,
game,
right.
right? It's
Yeah.
like on to the next one. Where
Yeah.
so like I know because you guys kind of branched off. It's how long has it been since you guys formally started like your own company?
6 years ago.
Yeah. And I mean, have
Yeah,
you guys
6 years ago.
noticed
So
like
2020.
nice? Yeah, right during COVID. I feel like
Yeah.
I've heard that
Yeah,
you guys
really.
have been on the road more too. Have you guys been busier as the company been growing?
We've been last year, just with all, honesty, last year at the end of the year, around September or so, August, September, I noticed like, hey, there's less things happening. There's less, work coming up. We were talking to more people. I mean, I talked to a lot of people, but all their stuff was going to be carrying over till the following year. So I was like, starting to like slow down here. I could tell. And so it slowed down a lot. And so we started helping some of the old affiliates with, like, in Texas only, rehabbing some of their stuff in their offices, like flooring and painting and upgrading their lighting. And so we started a service doing that we didn't intend to do, but we're doing it in San Antonio and in Dallas now. So some of the people, but yeah, we did slow down, but it's the first of the year, like, we started getting a flood of those people that we talked to started calling and talking to us. And then we're like, okay, hold on a second. Let's see exactly where you are. Cause we can, they're early in the process, and, I don't, you need to like lock them in and say, okay, give me a deposit right now. And no, we don't do that. Like, okay, find your space, and then we can talk to you about, helping you find a designer and stuff. Cause John, who works for us,
Yeah.
him and I work together at Breakaway. He still does our floor plans, but John does a lot of supplemental sheets and stuff that we get from other designers that, because you can get them from all the dental equipment guys, Shine, Benco, Design Ergonomics, different guys. And all those drawings are based off the sterilization and the operatories. There's no other data about the other rooms. So John focuses a lot on making supplemental sheets for us. so he doesn't have a whole lot of time to do, um, like full on floor plans. And so, we always, say like, no, you need a, if he's got, like a couple, then are like, no, hey doc, you're gonna have to call somebody else. So we only, John and we all agreed like, hey, John could do two at a time, but that's it. And so he's usually got like a backlog. So we do turn a lot of those away, but there's really good guys out there that do good floor plans. Um, you just got to do your homework. I think I posted that the other day, right? Find somebody who's got the heart of a teacher.
Yeah.
You got to find somebody.
Well, yeah,
like
didn't
that.
you we just joined it. You just started your own Facebook group too, right? If you like our podcast, check out Alex's newsletter, Just 2 Minutes. It's full of great advice, which makes sense considering it's her thoughts and not me sidetracking her every 2 seconds. You can subscribe at coupleofdentists.com. The link is in the show notes. Now, back to the pod.
Yeah, so Veronica and Erica is our niece. Her and Veronica started the dental. I think it's a dental lab. I should know it, right?
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
a
she's
dental
gonna.
practice
She
lab
hears
or
this.
something.
Someone's gonna get yelled.
I
at
know,
later.
man. I'm not going to say anything until she hears this episode come out because I'm too tired to fight with her today, man. I'm so tired. But yeah, so it came out and I was like, oh wow, that's cool. But it's like something construction based. Like, some people ask us questions, send a text, they'll send a message, they'll DM, right? Because everybody posts anonymously now, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants, they post anonymously. I'm like, all right. So they'll ask us like, hey, the contractor's telling me this and this, what should I do? Or just different questions. And, we try to answer them as best we can. We don't say, hire us, for $19.95 and we'll, answer your question, or,
Yeah.
$10 a question. No, we just answer them, and as we can, because, there's always missing information, right? So, you're only getting one side
Yeah.
of what
Yes.
they're asking. So we answer it based off of what we're hearing. And so they started that to be able to talk about things, because the biggest thing I hear is always they wish that it had more storage.
Yeah.
I mean, I have so much data from on the road, from stopping at old offices and talking to people. I mean, I go into their break rooms now and they're like 3D labs, because do you know how dense these offices are, right? And how much every space is like very critical. So all this new technology coming out, well, some of those offices don't have room for all that stuff somewhere.
I know.
Well, yeah, especially
have
with
room for
like
storage.
we never went 3D with labs, but like when I see friends who have had them, I mean, it takes up a good amount of counter space, right? Like you need a new workspace for it, right? And yeah,
you do. I mean, literally, it's like going into like my shop, with my miter saw, my table saw, and all. I mean, these things take up room. These 3D printers, the computers that run them, the workstation that they have within site, a CEREC or a milling machine that they use, to make. I mean, I know one doc that had like a 60 teeth making like machine, huge, in the corner of his room. I think we actually had a vlog on that one, and I was messing with the teeth that were in there. Hopefully I didn't mix them up, but yeah, I mean, I saw that and I was like, where are you going to put that? He goes, oh, I wanted to talk to you about that. I'm like, shit, man.
God damn it.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Where are we going to
I just happened to-
magically put this?
I know.
Well, I think
I walked into the space and I was
the
like,
hard
what's
thing
this?
too in dental is like
Yeah.
you're not really like, at your house you're like, ooh, I want to put a new painting here, right? You take off the old painting,
Yeah.
you put a new painting on. In dental, a lot of this equipment isn't like replacing something old, right? It's additive, right? So now you're adding a CEREC, you're adding your 3D printer.
Yeah, or even like rolly carts. I'm
adding
adding more rolly carts.
rolly carts,
Yeah.
adding a scanner, right?
Yeah.
Any of that, you have to have a spot to put it. And I think, you don't think of when you're building something, you think I only need the space for what I know now, but like you almost kind of have to buffer, right? And say like, all right, in 10 years, maybe we just need some extra space because maybe there'll be some new technology out and it's going to require, we need to expand this counter space 5 more feet, right? Or do something like that because maybe we'll need it.
Yeah. And, maybe this is a question for Ruben. You guys should ask him, over at Dark Horse. But, we've had a couple of offices that they were like requiring fiber to those offices because of technology.
Okay.
And they were requiring a bigger IT room for a bigger server or bigger drives for some of this technology that they're putting into these rooms. some of these offices also, have these, mini call centers inside of them. They have a room of like 6 to 10 people in there, and so they have like this automated stuff, and so they were taking bigger servers and bigger equipment to run all that, and they were like, they didn't want to have like 2 rooms, so they had like a bigger IT room. These 2 offices, like, that's the first time I ever saw that, and I couldn't question it because I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
But I know that they had more technology. That's probably one of the offices that had the most technology that I went in there. But it was also 22 chairs.
Jeez.
So
Jeez.
That's massive.
yeah,
What's the
they do
biggest?
everything.
What's the biggest office you've ever worked in terms of maybe not even square footage ops, right?
So, um, I just completed a job for an office that's going to be just north of like $11 million, probably close to $12 million.
What?
It's a standalone office. It's like 3 floors, got an atrium. It's full. It's got different stuff in it, and it's here in Texas, which was shocking to me. Um, but it's huge.
That's
so
a compound.
originally, like
Jeez.
when I first went off on my own, I did an old affiliate's office, and his was the first ground up that I did, and then after that it was like ground up. I was like, oh my gosh, it was like a thing, and they're bigger and bigger. They're getting bigger. This office is by far the biggest, just under $12 million. 3 floors. It's got like some of the nicest finishes. It's they do dentures and full arch, and they do implants.
Okay, so
they
it's
do
an
general,
all.
they
This is
do
a.
ortho.
This is like a dental center, not a dental office.
It's on one individual, but he has just different people. But yeah, he does.
Yeah,
multiple
yeah. But the
different
point
kind
is,
of
it's like one of those where like
cases.
you could go in there and get anything done you wanted dental wise, and you can get it done under one
Anything.
roof.
And a latte at the same time. Yeah,
Wow.
I mean like a real one. Like I think there's like a real like Starbucks.
There's like an actual
inside
barista
this.
just at the front, like they
Yeah.
hire. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, according to the drawings, I mean we had to like have the kitchen and the whole.
Is this like in the
grease trap
middle
and
of
all that for that
freaking
thing.
nowhere where there's just like really good numbers and like there's just a lot of people?
Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
okay, so
Pretty much, yeah.
because I was gonna say
Yeah.
like that would be like that's a commitment, man. Like to build
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that big, you better be in a spot where like the numbers look good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's this is the one that you talk about where the finishes come from a different country.
Hmm.
There's a long lead time for things. There's like, I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to wear a damn hard hat and a safety vest or something when we go in here because it's just so many floors. I hate wearing those things, but it's probably gonna be one of those. But we just awarded that one, and so they have a permit, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I'm
That
sure
sounds like
though.
fun.
There's a
I can't
limit,
wait to
guys.
see that
There's I'm starting to work on a limit. Like, hey, I'm not a spring chicken anymore, so I'm starting to like work on a limit. Like, okay, if it's this big, I probably because they're only getting bigger, and I'm like, you know what? I need to be able to. I want to keep our models small. I mean, to find somebody that does what I do, I'm sure I could find them, but I got such good relationships with so many dentists out there, and so many staff members too. I don't want to screw that up by sending, a guy or a girl out there and they're like, just check, and then how it is. You guys have staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got 4 people. That's it. That all do specific, but you guys have like real staff. So
Yeah.
hats off to you guys.
No, I think that's cool. I mean, you'll have to. I'm sure. I'd love to see the photos when that thing's done. I'm sure that dentist, whoever it is, would be very happy for people to see what his office or his or her office
Oh,
looks
yeah.
like.
Yeah, I think I might actually hire our video guy Mike Burgos because he's really good, and I might bring him from Miami. Hey man, or I think he's in Florida somewhere. Hey, come down here. I'm gonna go ahead and pay you to film this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We'll
like
see how it
as you're
goes.
going, everyone loves like the behind the scenes. Like we all love,
Yeah.
seeing stuff like that.
We started one of those. I think we're gonna put something out. It was our office that was hit by a tornado that was like heavily damaged, and then we ended up leveling it, and then we that office was rebuilt, and it came out spectacular. Came
Well,
out really nice.
what were we just
And-
we were watching on Netflix that it was like a documentary called like Becoming Gordon Ramsay, and it was his whole story of he's opening a bunch of restaurants at like the top of a skyscraper in London, right? And the one
Yeah.
thing that he did that was interesting, and that this really wouldn't apply to dentistry, but when they were in the middle of construction, he hosted a before party with a bunch of influencers, and they still did hors d'oeuvres and they did food, and then he invited them again when it was finished, right? So
Yeah,
they
he
could
called,
see
he
the
called
difference.
it like a before and after party.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's really freaking genius. Like, for a restaurant, it makes sense because you're still giving people food, right? Like, in a dental office,
Yeah,
that would be
yeah.
tough because what are you going to do? Like, get, like...
Free whitening? Like, yeah, I don't know,
free,
that's stupid.
free filling.
Yeah,
no.
exactly.
But, like, I thought that concept was cool because, like, everyone likes to see what something looks like before and then what it looks
It's
like
just
when
different,
it's finished.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. That's a good idea. I mean, I think it's a really good idea. Our friend, Dr. Vallo does something like that where he has these parties and stuff like that. And, I haven't ran into him when I've been to Florida because I never know what office he's at. But he does something similar to that. There's a way to get creative on bringing patients in and having them have a good time and
like experience that.
a
Yeah, I
little
mean,
bit of
even if you went
champagne.
out to the community and were like, look what we're building. Do you want to see beforehand and have some food out there
Yeah.
and do? Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you though, the biggest thing is when you guys are building an office, just ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid about rubbing anybody the wrong way because this is your money. And then also, don't tell your staff you're putting windows in certain rooms because then you're gonna have to like pull from a lottery, like who's gonna get the room with the windows because they come and ask me, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's windows in here. I don't see that on the drawing, but they know.
Yeah. Well, nice, Tommy. It's always awesome to have you on.
Thank you,
I could
guys.
sit and listen to you talk forever because I think it's so cool. And like I was saying before, I think the service you provide and you're providing actual value to dentists. And I feel like we're kind of in a phase in dentistry where there's a lot of people who say they are but don't really. But we know you're one of the good ones that actually does that. So we've always appreciated you.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.